Hello, this is McKenna Wegeman.
And I'm Erin Cotter reporting from Prague, Czechoslovakia.
Today is September 2nd, 1968.
Our hope of Prague Spring seems to be demolished after last month at about 11 p.m. on August 20th. The Soviets raided our streets of our own town of Prague and they demanded that we go back to our old rule.
As you know, our leader, Alexander Dubček, wanted to make some changes in our government regarding communism. It was just too strict for the common good and such a negative impact on the people. As many of you know, he was looking for the following reforms: freedom of speech and press, decreased centralized economic control, more trade with other nations, traveling abroad freely, and reducing the powers of the secret police.
Dubček was trying to gain citizens more freedoms and less control on our lives. He wasn't looking for conflict or war, but the Soviet Union didn't view it this way.
The Soviet Union was not happy with this reform. Brezhnev, the Soviet Union leader, is a strong believer in communism and strong leadership. He is a harsh leader who demands and gets what he wants.
Dubček making these changes caused a threat to communism around Europe. The Soviets were not happy. They didn't believe in the reforms that Dubček had in mind. The Soviet leader at this time was Brezhnev, and he began to fear that these reforms would spread to East European nations and soon become a revolution against communism globally. This is what led to the attack on August 20th.
The Soviets marched down the street of Prague, making it clear they were protesting changes Dubček was trying to make. It was not aggressive, but it was not friendly either. The Soviet Union had sent 200,000 Warsaw Pact soldiers to march into Prague to shut these ideas down. Dubček was surprised by the way the Soviets were acting over these minor changes he wanted. Though the people wanted to fight back, he kept a passive resistance. Dubček was wanted in Moscow and was demanded that he was returned to Prague to end all the ideas of reform and the Prague Spring.
It's crazy we didn't fight back due to everything going on around us, but that also saved us from another bad conflict. Although Prague Spring brought so much hope to us, it's important we understand that it's better to be united as one as opposed to be divided.
We can only hope that due to all of this, the Soviet Union will loosen up and a little, maybe even give us more freedom. They clearly know what the people want.
Here's some real footage from the invasion.
All communist parties in Europe were affected by the Prague Spring. The effects of 1968 on the communist movement in Europe was greater than that of 1956. Though the Prague Spring only lasted for 4 months, it did have quite an impact. Former First Secretary Dubček was replaced by Gustav Hozak. Due to this, Czechoslovakia had returned to its original communist control, and Russian troops remained stationed there after the invasion. Any sort of press that was anti-communist was shut down. People who continued to revolt against the government were arrested. It contributed to the growth of Euro-communist ideas in Western communist parties, which sought greater distance from the Soviet Union and eventually led to the dissolution of many of these groups. Overall, the real reason is that it takes a long time before any society subjected to decades of brute force, denial of human rights, and civil freedoms can overcome the legacy of dictatorship.
As you can see, this shook up many of our citizens, and we hope our country can come back from this and create peace with the Soviet Union. It was frightening for everyone and downgrading when watching people fight for what they wanted and get arrested.
I'm Erin Cotter, and this is all we have today.
And I'm McKenna Wegeman reporting for Czechoslovakia News.